Millions of animals are used in scientific testing every year. But today, the biggest fight over animal testing isn't happening in laboratories, it's happening online.
Animal testing means using non-human animals in scientific experiments to study diseases, test drug safety, and evaluate products. The most common animals used include mice, rats, rabbits, dogs, and monkeys. Scientists argue these experiments help them understand how the body reacts to treatments before they're tested on humans. In fact, many major medical discoveries relied on animal research.
Take insulin, for example. In the 1920s, experiments on dogs helped scientists discover insulin, a breakthrough that still saves millions of people with diabetes today. Scientists Frederick Banting and Charles Best conducted experiments on dogs to better understand how the pancreas regulates blood sugar levels. Through these experiments, they were able to isolate insulin and develop a treatment for diabetes. Before this discovery, a diabetes diagnosis was often fatal. Today, insulin therapies still allow millions of people around the world to survive and manage the disease.
Animal research also helped develop the polio vaccines. The development of the polio vaccine was in the 1950s. Researchers used animals, particularly monkeys, to study how the virus attacked the nervous system and to test potential vaccines. At the time, polio outbreaks were devastating communities and leaving thousands of children paralyzed each year. After years of research, the vaccine was successfully introduced and dramatically reduced cases worldwide, making polio one of the most controlled infectious diseases today.
More recently, animal testing played a role in the development of COVID-19 vaccines during the global pandemic. Before human trials began, scientists tested vaccine candidates on animals such as mice and monkeys to study their safety and effectiveness.
We have just put the vaccine that we've generated from these bacteria into mice, and we're hoping over the next few weeks we will be able to determine the response that we can see in those mice in their blood, their antibody response to the coronavirus.
These studies help researchers understand immune responses and identify possible side effects. Supporters of animal testing argue that this step is crucial because it allows scientists to observe how an entire biological system reacts before testing new treatments on humans. Supporters argue that without animal testing, many life-saving treatments might have never existed.
We can't say whether something new is safe or whether it works unless it's gone through a proper set of tests. These tests actually have to begin at the level of animals, so it's very important to do that.
But not everyone agrees.
Critics say animal testing raises serious ethical questions. Many animals in laboratories experience surgical procedures, chemical exposure, and long periods of confinement. Animal rights organizations argue that animals are capable of feeling pain and suffering, and that experimentation on them is morally wrong.
I've always said it's not ethically right. I'm thinking of the thousands of monkeys and using them in this way to create vaccines.
One controversial example is the Draize test, where chemicals were historically applied to rabbits' eyes to test irritation. Because of growing public pressure, many companies have now shifted towards cruelty-free product development, and much of that pressure has come from social media.
Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter have transformed the animal testing debate. Activists now share investigative footage, emotional stories, and viral campaigns that reach millions of people in seconds. Campaigns like Be Cruelty Free and advocacy from organizations like the Humane Society have used social media to pressure companies and governments to change their policies.
When I think of cruelty-free products, I think it should be the standard. It's important for us to try and use more cruelty-free products and be aware of the fact that every time we use something that's cruelty-free, we're helping reduce the harm towards animals. In a way, it's an easy way to help them.
As these posts spread online, they influence how consumers shop, what companies produce, and how governments regulate research. Social media has turned animal testing into a global ethical conversation.
At the same time, scientists are developing alternatives to animal testing. Technologies like organ-on-a-chip systems, computer modeling, and human cell cultures allow researchers to study diseases without using animals. While these methods are still evolving, they may eventually reduce the need for animal experimentation altogether.
Animal testing sits at the intersection of science, ethics, and public opinion. It has contributed to major medical breakthroughs, but it also raises difficult questions about animal welfare. And today, social media is shaping that debate more than ever before.
Animal testing affects millions of animals every year, but change is possible. We can start by making conscious choices, choosing cruelty-free products, and supporting companies that avoid animal testing. We can also support laws and policies that push for more humane research methods. Small choices may seem simple, But together, they can create real change and help build a future where science doesn't come at the cost of animal suffering.